Hi, I'm Jill, the Wandering Stamper. Thanks for joining me today. We are camping at Lake Manatee State Park in Bradenton, Florida. The weather's absolutely gorgeous. We're enjoying a nice warm winter. We've spent the week visiting a lot of family and friends that are in the area, and we've gone on some beautiful hikes and have had some wonderful sunsets to watch. So now that the sun's going down, it's time to go inside the RV and do some stamping. So come on and follow me, and we'll make some great little gift bags with matching cards. See you in the stamp pad. Today we're going to have some fun with our designer series paper stash. I'm sure I'm not the only one who falls in love with designer series paper and ends up with quite a bit of it. I love to make things with it, and I found a great way to use that stash up so you can make room for the new stuff coming out in June. So today we're going to be making 2 different size boxes out of designer series paper. They're very easy to make, and you can make up several of these, but they're the perfect gift carrier for those people in your lives that you want to bring a little special something to. You can gear the designer series paper for the personality of the person, and it just makes such a unique vessel for the gifts that you give. So let's get started. First, we're going to make this small box using one of my favorite masculine papers. This is from the He's the Man designer series paper. As all of our designer series papers at Stampin' Up! Are, they are double-sided. So this one, it has a great camping theme, which most of the guys in our family love to camp. So, and as you know, we RV full-time, so this is a very appropriate piece of paper. So let's get started, and I'll show you how to make this simple box. So first, you're going to take one piece of 12 by 12 designer series paper, and you're going to cut it 6 by 12. Now you do want to be mindful, if you have a direction like this sheet does, that you cut the paper so that the direction is facing you horizontally, so that you don't end up folding it and it's upside down. So 6 by 12, so we cut it across to make it 6 inches by 12 inches. And then we're going to put the 12-inch side in our cutter again, and we're going to do some score lines. So we're going to score our paper at 4 1/4, and then again at 5 3/4, and then again at 10 inches, and then again at 11 1/2 inches. Okay, and then once you're done with that, you're going to rotate it clockwise and score it along the 6-inch side at 1 1/2 inches. Whoop, I am just having a hard time. Okay, 1 1/2 inches. Then you're going to flip the paper over and score it at 5 inches. Okay, so there's our folds, there's our scores. So I'm going to set that aside. So now we have a small side up here, which this is going to be where we fold our paper to make the top of our box. So essentially it's this piece. So we're going to go ahead and fold that backwards and burnish it with the bone folder. Okay, and then once that's done, we'll flip it over, and we're going to go to this first score side, and we're going to go ahead and crease that, and then we're going to do the same thing over here. We've got this one here, and then we've got this one here. And this is a good time to make sure all your edges are straight and everything lines up nicely. Got that done. And then we have this bottom fold. I'm going to go ahead and crease that. Okay, so once everything's creased, you're going to have something that looks like this. So now we're going to do a little bit of cutting. So we're going to notch out some of our corners so they fit nicely on our paper. So we're going to notch that. Actually, we'll do it this way. And do a little notch here, okay? And so it kind of looks like, I call it a flower pot or half a stop sign. We're gonna do that again here at this line. And then we're just gonna cut this corner piece off. This is gonna make a tab where we create the box. And then we're gonna keep moving along here, and we're gonna notch out this. And all I'm doing is taking just a little triangle wedge out. It just helps it all fit together nicely. And you're gonna do that again over here. Using your paper piercing, or your paper snips. And I think that's it, right? I always have to double check because I am famous for getting things wrong. Okay, so that's done. So basically, I'm missing, oh, I didn't score one of my lines. That's why it was looking odd to me. I missed one crease. Okay, that's why it wasn't looking right. Notch this out. I don't care how many times you make something. Some days you just can't remember what you did. Okay, right? So now you have something that looks like this. All right, and so then when you put it together, it's gonna create your box. All right? So what we're gonna do now is this piece right here is going to get a little bit of glue. I like to use liquid glue for these things because you have a little bit of wiggle room to work things around and make sure that they fit. And if you need to move them, you can. So what you do is just lay this down like this once you have glue on it, and then just join up the corners, and it just will fit perfectly. Now actually what I was supposed to do, and this is a good reason for this tape, fold this little piece back. That way when you put it down like this, you can actually put this little piece back under here. There, that looks cleaner. So when you open your box, you have a nice clean corner and you don't have to glue any of this down. All right, so this will be the back of your box. This will be the front of your box. So now flip your box upside down, and you're gonna have these two flaps and these two flaps. So again, this is the back of the box. So I'm gonna make that go back here, and then this is the front of the box. So I'm gonna put a little bit of liquid glue down on these corners or on these flaps. Okay, and then we're gonna put this here, glue that down, and this gives you a chance to kind of move it a little bit. Make sure you have it all straight, and then get a little bit of liquid glue again, and just lay it down here to glue your bottom flap on. And since we did it this way, the front of your box is going to be nice and crisp. Okay, so there's the box, and I just use this to kind of, because you can't really get your hand in there, squish it down. Okay, and then if you kind of poke your fingers into the middle, you can gusset your box a little bit. So that box is done. All we have to do is decorate it. Now, this little corner is coming up, bothers me, so I'm just gonna put a little dab of glue right here. Come on. Oh, I usually keep my liquid glue upside down, and I did it, so I got a goop. All right, and we can wipe that off, no problem. All right, so our box is done. Look how cute. So it looks cute that way, but we're gonna decorate it. So we're gonna lay it on its side. This is a stamp from the
coordinating, he's all that stamp set. So this coordinates perfectly with the papers in the bundle. And I use the Together for the Long Haul, which is appropriate for my husband because he and I RV full time and he puts up with me 24/7. So he'll probably be the recipient of this card. There's a lot of great little sayings. The bundle also comes with punch outs that coordinate with the paper that are really cute. The dies make all kinds of things, ribbons and tags and everything. So this is a really fun little bundle. So what I did is I punched out this shape and then stamped Together for the Long Haul on it. And then using the little banner pieces here, I cut these little tails out. So we're going to attach these to the card. So I think the way I want to do this is maybe attach these to the piece of paper and then attach this to the box. So I'm just going to use a little drop of glue here, and I think I'm going to make this one go this way. I am just batting zero with the glue today. Okay, this is why you use this little mat so you don't get glue all over your work surface. I want to kind of make these fly around, so it might be hard to see because it's dark, it's brown, but you get the idea. So then I'm just going to attach this. I think I'll use dimensionals. I'm going to attach this to the front with my take your pick tool. I love this thing. Now since this isn't going through the mail meter, I don't really have to use a ton of them. So I think I'll just, you could probably stop at 2. I'm crazy and I feel like I always have to use a lot of these, so there we go. All right. Whoop. So now I'm just going to put this on my box. How do I want to do it? Kind of like that. Okay, so there's our little box. So simple. It would be great to put a little gift card, maybe Home Depot or a brewery or a restaurant he loves, something fun, a little tissue paper, and my husband has a sweet tooth, so maybe some candy. So fun little box. Here's another one I made using the Lovely and Linen Designer Series paper, another beautiful set, and I used some Night of Navy denim ribbon. So you can have a lot of fun with these little boxes. But next, I'm going to show you how to make a really fun larger box. Okay, let's get started on making this cute gift bag. This bag I already made, and this is using the He's the Man and He's All That bundle. As you can see, it's perfect for your favorite guy, and it has the card that hangs on the front. Super easy to make, and it's a great way to create gift bags with your extra paper and not have to run to the store to buy one. So let's get started. We are going to make a bag using some paper from the Lovely and Linen set. I really love this paper. I've used quite a bit of it. It's double-sided, as of course, and the contrasting colors just really make this bag pop. So let's get started. First of all, you're going to get 2 sheets of the same pattern paper. Now my pattern doesn't have any right side up. It's just non-directional. If you do have a directional paper, just be mindful of where your folds are so that you get your paper cut in the proper direction so it's facing the right way. So take your first sheet of Designer Series paper and get out our handy dandy cutter. First sheet is super simple. All you have to remember is 3, 3, 3, 1. So we're going to use our cutting and we're going to score it at 3 inches. Then we're going to rotate it clockwise and score it at 3 inches. We're going to rotate it clockwise and score it again at 3 inches. And then the last side, we're going to score at 1 inch, which is going to be the top of your bag. So this is why you do want to be mindful if you have directional paper that your top 1 inch end is going to face the right way once you get it all folded. So that's all we do for that sheet. And then we're gonna take that 1-inch end and we're gonna fold it backwards because this is gonna be the top of our bag. Give it a little press with the bone folder. Then we're gonna flip the paper over and we're gonna do the same thing on those 3-inch sides. Little things all over the place. And this one done. This just makes the edges nice and crisp. It's also a great time to determine if all of your edges are straight. And then the last 3 inches, this will be the bottom of the bag. So there we go. So those are all done. They're all folded. So now what we're gonna do is get our paper snips, figure out which side is easiest to see. I think this side's pretty easy. And I'm going to trim this score line up to the 3-inch score line. So I'm cutting the bottom score line up to the edge of the 3-inch score line. That's gonna create your bag flaps. And then I'm gonna go to the top here. I'm gonna unfold this a little bit and I'm going to, actually we're gonna leave that one alone. We're not gonna do anything with that. Okay, so this piece is done. We're just gonna set this aside and grab our other piece of paper. So this piece of paper, first of all, we're gonna cut off 4 inches because we only need an 8 by 12 piece. So we're gonna cut 4 inches off and we're gonna set this aside because we're gonna use this for the inside of the card. And now we're going to score at 1, 1, 1, 3. So it's just the opposite. The first piece was 3, 3, 3, 1, and this second piece is 1, 1, 1, 3. So this is going to be the top of my bag. I'm going to score that at 1 inch. And then I'm going to score the 2 sides at 1 inch. And then we're gonna score the bottom of the bag at 3 inches. Oh, look at that, I accidentally cut my paper. It's okay. 3 inches, and we're gonna score that. So that's it. We're gonna set our cutter aside for now. So we're gonna do the same thing we did with the other piece of paper. We're gonna fold that top edge backwards because that's gonna be the top of our bag. Then we're going to flip it over and we're just going to fold these down and give them a good press. And then this last edge. Okay. And now with this piece, I'm gonna go ahead and notch the edges because I'm gonna tuck these into the other side just so it looks nice and clean. So I'm just gonna give it a little notch there and just a little notch here just to the score line so it kind of looks like that. I'm gonna do the same thing over here. It just looks a little cleaner this way. So there we go. You could also, instead of doing that, just glue your ends down. That works as well. All right, so that's all done. So now we're gonna set this aside and grab our first piece again. And so what we're gonna wanna do is glue these together. So I'm gonna get my silicone craft pad because I will make a mess with this glue. It's inevitable. This is what happens when you don't close up your glue right away, which I didn't do yesterday. There we go. So the great thing about this silicone craft sheet is adhesive won't stick to it, so I can use it to get my glue started and then just wipe it off later. So what I'm gonna do here is just put a thin stream of adhesive glue on this piece. And then I'm gonna do the same thing over here. Okay. And flip this over, and then we're just going to put this in place. Just get the crease nice and even, and then put this one on here. Simple as that. So that's done. So now we're gonna set this aside, and what we're gonna be doing with this piece is actually, it's not a bad thing that I cut that piece by accident, because we're gonna cut these two edges on the score line up to the 3-inch side, just the same way we did the other piece. Just like that. And so these two pieces are gonna fold in and be glued as well, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and put our glue. I'm gonna get it started again because I don't want a glob of it. Globs are not good with glue. Okay, and a little adhesive here. Okay, and we'll flip it over. And just put that in place. I find it a little easier to do one side and then do the other. Okay, wipe my fingers off. All right, so that's glued together. So what's gonna happen is this piece is gonna fit perfectly inside this piece. So then what you can do is put a thin stream of glue on this bottom piece. Okay, so that way you can put some glue here. Make sure I'm in your camera. I'm gonna put a little bit of glue here so that this all fits together. Okay. And then we're gonna do the same thing on this side. I like the liquid glue. You could use tear and tape, which is very strong, which would work well as well, but I like to be able to take my time and get these placed exactly where I want them. So I find the liquid glue works better for me. So I just lay it in there like that, and then line up my edges, and then I can just kind of press it in place. See how easy that went together? And then you can put your bag on its side and just kind of do a little manipulation there if you need to. And then I use that time to kind of press my hand on all 4 edges, make sure that that glue is all down. Okay. And then this is the back of the card. So remember, we cut these little flaps. So I just put a little dab of glue on each flap. Get the glue started again. Just a little bit. And then I'm gonna just tuck this under like that. And it's the back of the card, or the back of the box, so it's okay if it doesn't look perfect. Nobody's looking at that side. All right, there you go. Tuck that under, and it just makes it all, it brings it all together, it just makes it all flow together nicely. So that's done. And as you can see, I have a little piece of this paper I didn't quite cut right, so I'm gonna just give it a little trim like that. I don't know why that's sticking up, but we can Cut it off, no problem. Okay, perfect. So there's the front of our bag. And I mean, it's super cute. If you want, you can use some glue dots if you want to add, you know, if you want this to go down a little. I like the way that it looks like a bag. And then I like to gusset the bag a little bit. So I just give it a little pinch like that. And then let it come back out. There you go. So there's your bag. You could totally leave it like this, add a couple ribbons, be done. But we're going to take it to the next level and add a card to the front. So what I did is cut a piece of paper that's 2 inches by 5.5 inches. I did that ahead of time for you, but I'm going to also show you how to score it. So you have to score a slit in it. So what I like to do is flip my paper cutter over. There's a ruler on this arm. So I'm going to go ahead, this is 2 inches, so I'm going to put this on the 1 inch mark. And then I'm going to bring my cutting blade and put it at the 1/2 inch mark. We're going to be scoring a line from the 1/2 inch mark to the 5 inch mark. And that's going to give us our opening to slide our card into. So you just put that down, very easy. And then just slide it up until you see 5 inches and stop. So you're going to get a nice little slit every single time. Now you can leave it like this, or I have a very small hole punch. So a lot of times I will just take my small hole punch and stick a little hole at the edge of each slit. It just kind of makes it look finished, in my opinion. But you don't have to do that. You could also even put a brad here or an eyelet if you wanted to make it look extra finished. But this will allow our card to slide in. So we're going to go ahead and get our Stamp and Seal or Stamp and Seal Plus, whichever you want. And we're going to, first we're going to get our seal started. So we're going to put a line of that down this piece. Kind of sticky for some reason, okay? That's all you have to do is just on one edge. And then we're going to put this on our card base, our bag base. Now, you could put it up here, you could put it right on the edge. Sometimes I'll even tuck it under just a bit, whatever is easiest for you. You want to get it kind of straight. So you get it as straight as possible. You do want to be careful about getting it straight or else your card's not going to hang right. So there we go. Press that down. So I put it just under the edge, but you can use the edge of the bag as your straight point and put it there to put it under there too. So that's done. As you can see, the slit opens. It's open at the bottom. So we'll set that aside, and now we're going to assemble our card. So remember, we had this extra piece that we cut off that was 4 inches. So we're going to go ahead and get our cutter out. And we're going to cut 4 inches. I'm sorry, not 4 inches. We're going to cut 1.5 inches off. 4 inches is what we cut off of our 12 by 12 paper to create this slit, this piece. We're going to cut 1.5 inches off of it. Now you could save this to use on your card if you'd like, or not. All right, so that leaves us this, and we're just going to fold it in half. Nice and straight. Give it a little crease. And if you have a directional paper, again, you're going to make sure you pick the right side to put on the card base. I use Night of Navy card base just so it kind of goes along with everything. So we're going to attach this to the Night of Navy card base with a little adhesive. Now, since this is double-sided, you still have that continuity of your pattern, so it's really pretty. The next thing I did was stamped a sentiment thank you. This will be a thank you gift, maybe for a being invited over for dinner or something, since we are in town right now seeing family. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere this to the card. As you can see, I messed up one side, but that's okay. Paper has two sides. Sometimes we don't stamp perfectly, and that's okay. All right, then we're going to center this on here. Now this is just perfect this way. Like I said, you could also have added this piece in here somewhere, even like down here, put your sentiment up there. There's lots of things you could do. I'm actually gonna cut out a flower using this scrap. I'm gonna maybe also include some of the leaves. Some of Stampin' Up's paper also has punches and dies that will actually cut the flowers out for you, which are really great. Okay, so I cut this little flower out. I'm just gonna put, since I have my glue out, I'm gonna go ahead and put a little bit of glue on this. Don't need much. And I am going to put this on my card. There. So now I'm bringing in the elements of the bag into the inside of the card. Got a little glue on it, but that's okay. This glue dries clear, so if you get heavy-handed with it, which I tend to do, it's all right. So there we go, our card's done. We want to add something to the front now, actually. So what I did, we're using the Something Fancy stamp set right here. It has so many good sayings, but it also comes with coordinating dies. These dies are called Something Fancy dies, and they have several tags, a couple of shapes, and then these little pieces that will fit in your tags and create some extra, a little extra spark of interest that matches the stamp sets. So this is a really fun set. What I did was stamped "May the good you do come back to you," and I added some embellishments from the adhesive back Milky Dots. I use these a lot. They're so good, and these coordinate well with this paper. Put that on there, and then I added the little dies that cut these flowers or these leaves, which actually look like the leaves that are in the paper. And then I cut a larger piece with the other die so I can attach these together. So that'll be the front of my card. So we're gonna go ahead, I'm gonna just use adhesive for the back of this piece. And by the way too, because things don't stick to this, if you do something out of order, you can pop it on here and it's not gonna stick. It pulls right up and the adhesive doesn't even come off. So this little piece of silicone sheeting is wonderful. All right, I'm gonna put that there. And now for this, I think I wanna elevate it. So I'm gonna grab my Take Your Pick tool and my dimensionals and add a few on here. Now, since this isn't going through any kind of millimeter because it's a bag, I don't have to go crazy with them. I'm just gonna put, I think I'll just put 3. I'll do 4. I'm so used to being even on these. I guess I can't help myself. All right, take those off. And then I think you could put this totally straight. I'm gonna be a little playful and put it this way. Okay. And then you can add some ribbon to that if you'd like, or you can leave it just like that. I think I'm gonna leave it like that. Maybe I'll add some ribbon later. But my card is done. And as you can see, it'll slide right into here. And now you have a gift bag with a greeting card attached to the front. So it's great for birthdays, holidays, special occasions, thank yous. You don't have to run to the store and get expensive bags from the drugstore or wherever. You can just create one with your stash of 12 by 12 paper, and you can even make matching bags. So here's the matching bag. This is a small bag made of a half a sheet of 12 by 12 paper. That's the one we made earlier. So these both are coordinating. You could actually put one in there and have 2 gifts. Super cute. This is the bag we made with the He's the Man set and the He's All That dies. And here's a small box made with that, where we embellished it with some tags on the front and some different brads. And again, a perfect guy gift. So I hope you enjoyed this. I will put all of the cutting dimensions, scoring lines, and directions in the video at the bottom. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy these videos and would like to see more, and we will see you soon.